All right. Fish and Toast episode. Is this 7? Is this 7? Am
Yes.
I thinking
I think
correctly
you're
here?
right. Yeah.
All right. Let's get
Episode
the
7.
camera position a little bit better here. God, I'm a mess. Absolute mess. There we go. That's better.
Just a
See how
busy man.
Beautiful face. Busy week. I am nomadic with the state of Oregon this week, my friend. I will be going to Hood River tomorrow.
Is this like a camping thing or what?
No, this is for a sales retreat.
What?
Yeah. A lot
No
of
way.
a lot of things like synergy and let's table this conversation and quotas and a lot of let's just what did you say? Our input affects our output,
Yeah.
things
Affects
of
the
that nature.
performance.
So
Yes.
yeah, it's listen, I'm looking forward to it, getting out of
Are
town,
you?
but I
It
don't know
didn't
about the
sound-
whole I don't know about the whole 4 straight hours of meetings part of it,
Yeah, that's tough. When
Yeah, I
do
don't know
you leave? Like, when is it done? How many days?
tomorrow morning, coming back on Wednesday, but
Okay,
we're gonna
bad.
mix it up in Hood River. I've already been looking up the dive bars, the breweries that are around
Go to
town.
Freem?
Oh yeah, Freem will
Yeah.
be in the itinerary for sure.
Hey, I saw, what is it? 1080 is in A tonight. I heard him. I was like,
1080 the fan.
that's where I'd like to be.
Me too. The blackjacks, I would maybe have better luck at blackjack tables than sports gambling right now. That's for sure.
Oh, who knows? Who knows what could happen?
Well, also I could bet on college up there, which we can't do down here.
See,
So
that is a plus.
yes. I'm gonna get a hat on because my hair's a mess. I look like a slimy, scummy piece of shit right now.
Figure it out, Fisher.
I know. Just disgusting.
We need you dialed in here.
The classic Sunday pins.
Yeah.
Corduroy yellow. Right there, baby.
That's much better.
There we go. Now I'm in the element. Yeah, I could bet on college up there, put in a little futures bet or something like that. Put in something for this Saturday.
They actually just have like a nice sports book though, like kiosks and a bunch of seats where you can go sit, like stadium seating in there, how it should be done.
I have not gone to any other sports book than A. And it's from my understanding that there is no better sports book, at least close to us.
Yeah, I mean the one at Lincoln City and Chinook is awful compared to that. Yeah,
they need to step their game up.
Yeah, they have like very little like betting opportunities, and you can't really do like player prop type stuff. It's all straight spread or totals, and it's really small. Really,
the sports book manager is also the person running the slot machines, maintenance, and also the janitor. And
they run the bunko.
They're running the keynote table.
Yep.
Well, yeah, could bet on college. Bet on college at A. Whoa, I'm getting dual audio here. But I wanted to get right into college, man, because Jesus Christ,
it was a wild Saturday. I mean, weekend in general, from like all the way from Thursday to Saturday, right there to the very end of the day, too.
Yeah, I would say that Saturday was definitely like the first Saturday in a while that felt like this is like, all right, college football's here, baby. Like, I know we've had some good, but to have that many upsets and that amount of crazy, like, I can't remember a Saturday like that.
Yeah, well, it was weird because I was going into that Saturday not thinking it was going to be great because we only had a couple top 25 matchups, and I was like, oh, there's probably going to be a lot of blowouts. I saw a lot of spreads. I was like, oh, 20 plus points. And that really turned out to be totally wrong because, it was one of the more fun ones we've had so far, and saw a lot of upsets I did not think were going to happen. So,
well, I'm trying to find the tweet, but someone said the They're like, God, imagine the guy who agreed to go apple picking with his girlfriend this weekend, only seeing one top 25 matchup on the slate.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, this is gonna be a
There
bad
he
one.
there he is.
We'll skip this one."
He's reaching for Honey Crisps up in tree while missing absolute amazing upsets.
Yeah, the Bama one, they're like, "Oh, we can go during 12:30, no big deal. There's not any good games going. They're pretty much blowouts." And then he
Dude.
comes back, he's like, "What the hell?"
Well, and it all started in the morning with that first top 25 matchup, the Missouri Texas A&M game, which was like to me somewhat like of an afterthought. Like I just did not believe in Texas A&M at all this year so much.
Really?
Uh, I mean, what was the game earlier in the year? Was it when they played Notre Dame? I mean, it
It
was
was
a
Notre
close
Dame.
game. It was a
I
close game.
If you think about that, yeah, I've been high on Texas A&M all this year. I bet their win total. I was expecting this sort of thing to happen. I actually had scheduled them to lose to Notre Dame. Um, being is that they got a brand new head coach and offensive coordinator, and it's tough to get clicking against one of the best defenses in the nation in Notre Dame early on. It's going to be a struggle, but they seem to really figure it out. And Connor Wegman going back in as the starter and really having a great game, 18-22, and not making any mistakes, and the defense dominating, making Missouri look like mid-Missouri, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if I can get behind Texas A&M also strictly for Connor Weigman and how he talks.
Oh, I mean, I'm not saying I agree at all with his comments, anything. I'm talking about I thought he was gonna be pretty bad when I first
You've heard
watched
him
him.
talk before, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Pretty sure
Um,
he like grew up in like a gated community too. Like
oh,
not from the dirt, not from the scum at all. Just like as privilege can be.
oh, he's been in the Ritz-Carlton all his life, so
Oh my god. But
but I
yeah, I don't
was
know.
complete
Just,
blowout in that game.
just seeing Texas A&M throughout this year, like I don't know. I did not expect them to do that. Just
Yeah.
completely blow Missouri out of the water. So
I
so
was
that
Missouri was one of those teams where I wasn't all the way sold in. Like, I wanted
yeah,
them to
that's
show
true
me
too.
something.
Yeah.
Like, I know they have Luther Burden, but beyond that, what can you give me? And is Cook going to show up every game and be able to make some of those big throws that he made last year? I don't know if I was going to be able to see that 2 years in a row from that guy.
Yeah, but I mean, coming off of a bye week,
You would think he'd be dialed.
yeah, and like barely beating Vanderbilt, which again, like now we know Vanderbilt is much better than like ever before.
Yeah.
But you would think that, yeah, you go to overtime against Vanderbilt, you go into a bye week, you're like, okay, guys, let's not fuck this up. All right. We barely got out of that one. And then just getting the absolute doors blown off. Like, that is a bad loss.
Kyle Field's hard to go play. So, I mean, a road loss. I guess at least they didn't do that at home, but
Not just, and
yeah,
it's not just a road loss, just road ass beating. Like,
yeah,
again, you had 2 weeks to prepare for this game.
yeah, that
So,
was built to ass. Yep.
so that was the first one of the day. That was that 9 a.m. slot where that happened. And then I'm trying to kind of think of how the day, like the
Well,
timeline of the day, like what was the next big upset. I think the next one after that was the Alabama Vanderbilt game.
yeah, no, I mean that was right in the next slot of games. But the sleep. Were you paying attention to this Penn State UCLA game at all? The
No,
the
because UCLA's
sleepy
offense
start.
is just god awful. Penn State's offense is really, besides their running backs, is nothing to really be impressed about. Drew Aller is like to me totally came down from a high after that West Virginia game.
Yeah, yeah, they have
So
not got going at all, and one of their running backs got scratched right before the game. Um, and they tried to say that was one of the reasons why they were thrown off. Their game plan was thrown off when they still have Katron Allen in the backfield. So I don't even know that why that was a big like deal, but they didn't. No one scored any points the first quarter. It was a scoreless first, and um, UCLA's defense was actually pushing around Penn State's offensive line up front in the first quarter. I was really shocked by that, and they couldn't get anything going until that second quarter. But I wasn't really impressed with what Penn State did at home. It was at home too, so like shouldn't be a sleepy start for them. More so should be UCLA playing at 9:30 a.m. their time. So
Well, Penn State now we're not going to count the Kent State game, but literally since the beginning of the season, they have not been that impressive. I mean, they almost lost that game to Bowling Green. The Illinois game, they now to be fair, they did dominate that Illinois game for the most part, but they only separated themselves at the end with that pick six to make it a 21-7 game. And then
yeah,
yeah, this UCLA game. So like Penn State being 4, and we're going to get to this at some point as far as like some of the best teams in college, because boy, 2 weeks ago, I was saying like, man, it kind of seems like there's just an upper tier, top tier. I don't even know what that top tier is anymore and how big it actually is. Like how many great teams there actually are.
yeah. There's
Yeah,
very few.
because Penn State at 4, like I mean, again, if you look at the top 10, I don't know who else you believe in at this point. Outside of, the top 2 teams, is it, I mean, Georgia, are they the third best team, fourth best team in the country?
I feel like you got to put Georgia in there. They
I
just
mean,
have a different type of athlete. So
and we're going to find out obviously this week with Oregon, Ohio State, like how good each of these teams are. Like, I feel
yeah,
like Ohio State, they're going to be in it to the end, regardless of what happens to this game. Oregon, this is going to be a big indicator for them as far as how good they really are. Like, Oregon can still lose that game, but still like not drop far in the rankings,
oh
depending on
yeah,
how this game goes, right? Like if it's a
oh
close
yeah,
game, final possession, and they lose, like what are they going to go down to, like 5, 6, maybe?
oh yeah.
Um,
They wouldn't drop far, regardless.
yes.
Whoever loses this game is not dropping far out of the rankings.
Unless they just one of these teams gets absolutely just blown out, which
Yeah,
I have a hard time seeing Ohio State getting blown out. I have a hard time, I could see Oregon just not getting blown out, but not being able to keep pace and, losing by a possession or two.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, again, we can get into it a bit more, but Penn State at 4, I'm just like not buying right now. They'll probably end up losing to fucking Ohio State and Michigan like they always do. They don't even have Michigan on the schedule this year. So
Who? Oh, Penn State. Yeah,
yeah, they'll lose to Purdue or something like that. They'll fuck up somehow and
I
lose.
don't
They'll
think
end up
anyone's
losing to
losing to Purdue.
they'll lose to Purdue or like Maryland or something like that at home to just totally ruin their season. Um, but
You, yeah, you were asking about the 9 a.m. slate again, the early slate, and SMU beating Louisville. Um, kind of,
hey,
I mean, it shouldn't really shock, but I really expected Louisville to show up at home after that last loss and play really well. And SMU continues to, they made that switch at quarterback to Jennings and continues to look really good.
well, they've been their offense has looked pretty damn good the last few weeks. I mean, the beginning of their season was weird. I mean, them barely escaping Nevada to start the year and then them losing BYU. I mean, they have totally just flipped a switch ever since that BYU game. Like they still have a chance to win the ACC.
Yeah, that's crazy. Their defense is garbage, but their offense can really score the ball. They're tough to stop. And do you know who also played at that time as well? Your 6-0 Indiana Hoosiers. Kirk Cignetti does it again, covers the spread. He's just been amazing for me, and cashes the season win total. So watch out, Indiana. Indiana might give Ohio State a run for the money here in a few weeks. Who knows? Um, but I've been very surprised by this Indiana team. So, I mean, not just Indiana,
You think
honestly. What?
you I was gonna say I lost you there for a little bit, bud.
Oh, you lost me?
Yeah, my connection went out for like 10 seconds there or something like that.
Oh, well, I was talking about my Indiana Hoosiers.
Oh
My
yeah, Kurt Signetti, baby.
yeah, cashing that season win total and covering the spread for I think he's 6-0, 5-1 now at against the spread and just keeps
They
doing it for me.
already they already hit their win total for the season.
Yeah, it was 5.5 and they're 6-0. I was like, that was the easiest win total bet I think I've ever made. So thank you to Kurt and the boys. And Curtis Rourke for being healthy and helping me out. So
Well, I know we do this just about every week is look at the schedule ahead. Ooh, Indiana's got Nebraska in 2 weeks. They got a bye week this week, but they'll be at home against Nebraska.
I'm not
They
scared.
they got I'm not either, quite honestly. Nebraska, I mean, obviously they looked great in their game against Colorado, but I think that was just definitely like an emotional like high for them.
Yeah.
It's having them come into Memorial Stadium or not Memorial Stadium, Jesus Christ. I'm forgetting the name of the Nebraska stadium, but
I think you might be right with that.
but I mean, they have been obviously against Illinois, and then last week just barely escaping Rutgers. Like they have come down from their pedestal a little bit, and I'm not as high on them as I was a couple of weeks ago. Now, granted, they're 5-1, so that's a good season in Nebraska terms.
Yeah.
They already should be like, hey, we'll take the season as a win. We're probably going to at least finish 500 because we will beat UCLA. They should beat UCLA later in the year.
Did you
But
see Walmart Mahomes at all? Like those numbers that he put up? Nothing to be excited about.
no, that's what I'm saying is
13 to
that
27 for 134 yards and a pick. So,
well, he got the humbling you were hoping that we were all hoping for.
yeah,
Because
that's
yeah, I mean
true.
he was definitely feeling himself to start the year, and that has come crashing down now. So yeah, not quite Mahomes yet.
I mean, he has some arm talent, don't get me wrong, but he needs to pump the brakes a little bit on that, you know?
Oh boy. Yeah, and then again from in that 9 o'clock slot, as far as other games go, I'm trying. You know what I did actually in that morning time slot? I woke up at 9, turned on the quad box on YouTube TV, and
Yeah.
then drifted in and out of sleep until about 10:30, and then woke myself up and then made a.
Jeez, Fisher.
Oh, hey, dude, I listen. Saturdays got to get the Z's in, okay? I then I woke up and made myself a great brekkie while watching the second half of the games. It was fantastic. It was a great way to start my Saturday.
Navy and Army getting shit done again, both 5-0 and just dominating their opponents.
Dude,
Um,
I just keep rolling. If Notre Dame cares about this country, they will lose both of those games.
uh, I'll tell you someone who does not care. That's Trent Dilfer at UAB. That team has quit on him. That is when you're down 50 points, just laughing on the sideline. Guys are just laughing on the sideline.
Oh boy,
You
I didn't
know,
see that.
you lost. When
I
Tulane puts up 71 against them, oh yeah, that was not good. Not a good look for UAB and Trent Dilfer.
Quite honestly, I forgot Trent Dilfer was the head coach of that team up until Saturday. I saw that there, like someone posted his post game press conference, and they're like, Coach Dilfer not happy with his team's performance. I was like, Trent Dilfer is the coach at UAB. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, for the last 2 years, and he's been terrible.
Oh my
Um,
god.
yeah, he just complains, "The transfer portal, everyone takes my players. It's unacceptable." He's so annoying. It's like, "Yeah, dude, it's happening to everyone."
Oh god.
So, yeah, that was a bad look for UAB. I think they made the wrong hire. Because who was it? Because Bill Clark was the coach of UAB before, who was, like, kind of a legendary coach, and one of the guys on his staff took the job. where did he take a job at? Some other small school that's in the UL Monroe. UL Monroe, who just got a huge win against James Madison.
Oh, did James Madison not put up 70 points this time?
Dude, they put up 19 points in
I
UL
literally,
Monroe.
I literally thought you were about to say 90.
No.
They put up 90
Dude.
points against them.
Well,
Like,
UL Monroe
holy
is
shit.
4-1 in the Sun Belt right now with General Booty at the helm. So,
And we're about to start getting some Wednesday night Sunbelt games, aren't we?
it starts this week. We got a game tomorrow.
Or is that CUSA games though? Conference USA, I believe.
Yeah, but I mean, at least they have games going on, you know?
Hey, 55 straight days of football, baby. We made it. 55 straight days that officially started as of on the 2nd, I believe, of
I can't
October.
tell you that I'm gonna bet on FIU and Liberty tomorrow, but
Well, you probably shouldn't, you sick son of a bitch.
yeah, I'll probably just tune in and enjoy the Liberty with the Flames, just kill it.
All right, I want to get back to these upsets because
Go back to midday, maybe.
well, it was around I don't know if it was like the 12:30, 1 o'clock kickoffs. I think it was around there. I think that's when Alabama Vanderbilt kicked off, was
Yeah,
around that time. Yeah.
12:30.
Um, hey, we joked about it last week about Vanderbilt. At least, I don't know, maybe at least covering. Do you realize you and I both have never seen Vanderbilt beat Alabama in our lives?
Once I heard that, I mean, I'm not really that stunned,
I
but
mean, not even in like 94. Like,
yeah,
granted, I don't remember anything from 94. I was 2 years old, for God's sakes. But the fact that it's been since 1984 since they beat him, I was like, okay, so literally, I have not been alive
yeah.
since Vanderbilt beat Alabama last. Like that.
Well, Alabama's been so dominant ever since we've been alive. Like they had a couple down years, but
Well, that's what
yeah,
I'm saying. Like in the 90s, like mid to late 90s, early 2000s, before Saban got there, it's not like they're just like they were now. And so
yeah.
I would think like maybe they had, an upset. Who was there before Saban? It's totally escaping me.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
God damn it.
They
It's
went
just,
through a couple different guys though,
oh my
because
God, it is absolutely killing me.
um, but during that Vanderbilt game, was there any point where you're like, yeah,
Mike
uh,
Shula.
Shula, that's hilarious. Was
Oh
there any
God.
point during that game where you were like, "Oh, yeah, Alabama's just playing with their food. They'll figure it out
Oh,
eventually," after
multiple
it them
times.
starting down was it 13-0, and
Yes.
then, um, I mean, really, it just kinda seemed like watching that game for when I did, it kinda seemed like the athletes were somewhat similar on both sides of the ball. I did not expect Vanderbilt to be able to match up, uh, as well as they did with Bama.
Well, Diego Favia, just repping short guys everywhere. Or
Oh,
Diego Pavia, rather.
yep.
Just, I mean, any guy under 6 foot is just going off on Tinder this weekend, just being like,
I got a
hey,
chance.
yeah, exactly. Any chick that's saying, must be above 6 feet tall, he's like, I beg to differ.
Yeah. I mean, they had a great game plan together. They knew exactly how they should attack Alabama, and they did it because putting up 40 points is not a mistake. And it's not like Alabama made a ton of mistakes themselves. It's just Vanderbilt kind of whipped them from the start. They were not ready for that. And I got to give to Clark Lee and that whole coaching staff, Tim Beck, Jerry Kill. Um, they put together a really good game plan and executed perfectly. Stowers, that tight end, that guy is legit. He's a really good tight end. So
There were 3 times in that game that I thought where I was like, okay, yeah, they're gonna end up taking the lead here. Or, okay, this is where the game, the tide changes, pun intended.
yeah,
Um, It was in the second half. They come out and score right away, and Vanderbilt punts up 2. And I'm like, okay, this is where Alabama then scores. They go up, they stop them, score again, stop them, score again, and Alabama ends up winning by like 30.
Yeah.
And then
happens.
they didn't and had to punt. And then on the next Vanderbilt drive is when they hit that 4th and 1.
Yeah.
With the deep shot on a 4th and 1. I was just like, hell yes, brother.
Dude,
Let's go.
the balls to go for that, you know?
Dude, and the guy like essentially laying out for it, like fingertip catch on that one. So
That's
they get that. And then Alabama responds with fucking Ryan Williams just getting that insane sideline touchdown where he seemingly looked like he was going to go out of bounds like 20 different times during that play and never did. Like running the route, thought he was going to go out of bounds, catching the ball, thought he was going to land out of bounds, and then running down the sideline for the touchdown, thought he was going to go out of bounds, didn't go out of bounds at all.
He just bounds. He just like his bound. He's like a deer out there. Like it's somehow he's just so springy. And then it's just so quick twitch that he can just like turn and stop on a dime. It's really crazy to watch.
So that touchdown happens. They're down by 2, and then they hold Vanderbilt to a field goal after that. So this is the second time where I'm like, okay, Alabama's going to get the ball back. They're going to score a touchdown. They're going to take the lead. They're going to hold on to it. They're going to add to it. And then they get the fucking sack on Milroe and force the fumble.
Yeah. One of the biggest plays of the game for sure.
Oh, because again, we're like in the 4th quarter at that point. Mm-hmm. So once that happens and they get the ball around like half field there, I think it was somewhere around like close to the 50, but then they go and score.
Yeah, you're like, what? This is actually happening. This is actually possible.
I don't know if that's when I texted you or not, if it was after the fumble or when they scored that. Where
I think it was after the fumble, and then they like scored shortly after, and we're like, oh man, this is happening.
Well, and then what they did that Cal couldn't do against Miami was they had the ball at the end of the game, and they ended up where they were able to run it, get a first down, and able to just run out the clock on them.
Yeah.
And it was just over. You're just like, they're going to fucking do this. Alabama can't stop the clock. This is done.
I think everyone minus the Bama fans were rooting for Vanderbilt in that time. Like, they're like, what? This is happening? Everyone loves a good upset underdog story.
Everybody was rooting for them except the Crimson Tide fans and any sort of bachelorette party that was going down in Nashville. Because I'm sure
they're ruining my time.
This is my night.
What? I planned it for this weekend.
What is this field goal post doing down here?
Oh my God. Is that a field goal post through the city? Oh my God.
Bullshit. Christ, Samantha's crying in the bathroom.
That's so funny. They took that thing all the way. They're like 3 miles away.
And they throw it in the river. Yeah, we're done with this.
I think Tennessee did that like a few years ago when they beat Bama.
Also, and I haven't looked this up, but because was the Missouri game so that was at Kyle Field.
Yes.
So you had upset at Kyle Field. You had upset at Vanderbilt. You had upset at Washington. You had upset at Minnesota. And then upset. God, what was the 5th one? I'm forgetting here.
I mean, there's an upset technically SMU over Louisville. It was 22.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. That was at Louis. That game was at Louisville.
Yeah.
See, I'm just trying to think of all the upsets unranked upsets that happened at the unranked team's house. Oh, Arkansas, Tennessee. That's right. Like, not only did we get all these upsets, they all happened at the unranked team's homes.
It's that home field advantage right there.
Yeah, but I mean, like, again, like you would think, like when I
was should have been Cal, honestly. It shouldn't have been Cal if they didn't blow a 25-point lead, but yeah.
Dude, I mean, we might just have to get right into that. Like, that was the most disappointing part of Saturday for sure. I mean, part of me, I would say second most disappointing part was Oregon State not losing to Colorado State and end up pulling out that win.
You were hoping that they lost?
Yes. That would have been hilarious.
I just want them to keep winning so our win looks a lot better.
I hear what you're saying in that, but also that would have been hilarious if Oregon State gives up a 21-10 lead in the fourth quarter to Colorado State, future Pac-12 opponent, and ends up losing that game.
It was a gutsy win, though. I mean, double OT, those don't grow on trees, and
A kicker making a 44-yard field goal to tie the game with 20 seconds left, that doesn't happen every day.
no.
I mean, the week before, I was all like, oh gosh, Ole Miss going for that field goal 48 yards with like 50 seconds left, college kicker. And I was like, listen, I know this is a 44-yarder and he should definitely make this, but I don't feel good about this either.
Yeah.
And then the Oregon State kicker sank it. I'm like, holy shit, how about that?
Ice in his veins, man. Yeah,
Um,
that was nice. They ran the ball all over, Colorado State.
well, that's the only thing they can do. I'm pretty sure Oregon State's passing offense is like in the bottom 10 in college football.
Yeah, Giovanni McCoy is not a great passer. They clearly are starting to run him. 10 carries, 91 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the ground for him.
Dude, he had
And,
one touchdown. I don't know if it was to make it 21-10, where he just lowered the shoulder on a dude. And I was like,
about the boom.
yeah, I was like, listen, I don't care about them scoring a touchdown. I want Oregon State to lose this game. I was like, but that gets me jacked right there. When you see a quarterback lowering the shoulder, I'm pretty sure Daniel Jones did that yesterday against the Seahawks too, where he was trying to fight for some extra yards and just lowered the shoulder into Tariq Woolen. And I was just like, dude, I don't even like the Giants or Daniel Jones, but you see a quarterback doing that, that gives me a semi chub.
Right? It gets me all worked up.
I know. I love it. But yeah, so the second disappointing thing was Oregon State not blowing that game and actually pulling it off in the end. Those referees at the end of the game, boy, they were lucky if they made it out of Corvallis alive, because they were making some calls at the end of that game that even I was just like, boy.
I just cannot stand refs right now. It's just anywhere. Like, just throwing so many flags lately, and then I don't want to get started into like what's targeting, what's not targeting, because it's different with every single crew, it seems with, or
I mean, let's be real
conference though, or whatever it is, and it's not consistently called throughout college, which pisses me off.
Well, I mean, let's be real. Miami should have lost that game if they would have gotten that targeting call correct. That was 100% targeting.
If you look up targeting,
at the end of the game,
part of targeting.
Dude, like, I'm sitting there with my girlfriend. We're watching that game when she is even like, oh, yeah, that's targeting. Like, and then the commentators, like, everybody's on board. Like, oh, yeah, he launched his body 6-inch radius on top of the helmet. 6-inch radius on top of the helmet. He hits him in his helmet. Like, that was textbook targeting.
That's what
I don't know what they were looking at.
I don't like targeting. Like, I wish they just didn't like call it at all.
Yeah, just have it be a 15.
If you're gonna actually make it a thing and call it sometimes, you got to go through with it. That's also targeting, you know.
But also, you go and review it. Like, that's the thing too. Like, if
well, they reviewed it and they're like, no, we're good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so you knew, or you got the call from upstairs to look at it, and they're like, hey guys, we need to look at this for potential targeting. And then you watch that video and you look at the replay, and go away from that. You're like, oh no, yeah, let's clean it.
Dude, they weren't going to do that to the only undefeated ACC team. ACC was not going to let that happen.
The call was in.
Yeah, the call was in already, especially after, I don't know if you saw on that final touchdown pass Cam Ward had, when the offensive linemen were in the end zone, 5 to 10 yards down the field. That is not okay. Like, that gets called everywhere else, and especially it's such a critical play.
And isn't it like
make that call?
Isn't it 2 yards? Like, the line of scrimmage, you have to be within a yard or 2 yards of the line of scrimmage for it not to be a legal man downfield.
I think I think it's like I think it's 1 to 2 yards. Like, you can't be, like, egregiously blocking down the field. Like, they acted like Cam Ward took off running on
Yeah.
that, and he clearly was just on the side, almost breaking the plane. He had one of those too, one of those, passes where they were trying to see if he was over the line of scrimmage when he threw, because he was getting really dangerously close sometimes.
Yeah. NCAA allows ineligible receivers a maximum of 3 yards. NFL's 1 yard, but they were definitely
Oh, dude,
over. They
they
were
were
5
5 to
yards.
10, 5 to
Yeah.
10 yards in there. I saw one guy, like, almost by the back pylon, I felt like.
There
It
was a
was
guy
like,
already in the end zone celebrating the touchdown.
dude, he was in the stands with the fans celebrating. Like, I could not believe they didn't call that there's just some really, I mean, let's be honest, those 2 calls should not have decided this game when you got a 25-point lead at one point. Cal got so vanilla with what they were running and they puckered up. Those buttholes got so tight, and they did not know what to do. They stopped running their offense, like, totally. Any of those plays that were working got shut down. Um, I would yeah, and then Cam Ward does what he does when he's got a bunch of time. Back there, he finds Xavier, Restrepo for 163 yards because no
And
one on Cal can figure out how to guard him.
how they left him open for
You
like
knew that they were going right to him. They were
I
going
know.
to him every time. It's like Restrepo over the middle, running a slant, maybe a double route, and they still couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, how they just left him open for like there was no one within 15, 20 yards of him.
It was like, and then he just gets so much, like, run after the catch. It was like, where's everyone else? Like, did everyone
Oh
else go
god.
to the other side of the field? I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that Cal game was extremely disappointing because like I still had it on in the background. I was talking to some people today. They're like, "Oh yeah, I turned it off." Like Cam Ward throws that pick six, which is
It was
like
such a bad pick.
that's something I would do in like Madden. Just try and like I'm just down losing by 18. I'm like, let me throw a cross field prayer here, pick six.
Well, that's the Cam Ward we're used to seeing at from Washington State, you know? Like,
Cam
that's the
Ward,
Cam Ward that I remember, whoopsie daisy, like, oh,
he's
all of a
given us the
sudden
Cam Ward experience in a full game every
yep,
time now.
that's
Like it's
exactly what it
the
was.
the good and the bad.
Yeah, and, I mean, there was a lot of good. He's having a lot more good, but he has some just bonehead, like, I'll try to do it all himself type things sometimes.
By the way,
Um,
Miami does have the number one passing offense in the country.
oh, no shit, when he threw the ball 53 times last game?
Yeah,
They're down by so much, he just has to throw a ton,
they're
like the
averaging
last 2
400
games.
passing yards per game.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and half of them are to fucking Restrepo, and no one can seem to stop that. Uh, yeah, I was bothered by a lot of things in that game,
Oh,
and I circled that game, like, we were talking, I circled this Cal game, like, early on, I think, like, maybe episode, like, 4 or so.
well, the
I
cover
was like,
hit. I mean,
"Oh, no, yeah,
Cal covered, which
I
was
wasn't worried
some we
about that." Yeah.
yeah, we were talking about that last week, but man, the fact that money line came into play, how sick to your stomach would you have been if you had money line on Cal in that game?
Oh, I did for the last, leg of my parlay for the day. Yeah.
How many were in there?
Huh?
How many legs were in there?
That was number 5. That was my last one of 5, so, yeah, I was pretty upset, but,
All
I
right.
mean,
We need
I
we need
had
de we need details then.
Cal.
What was the bet amount and what was the payout?
Oh, I can tell you here in just a second. It
I hate to
was
make you relive this, but,
shit. Yeah, it was I had 15 bucks on it, so, like, nothing serious.
well, still 5 leg though, and you're taking Cal money line?
Yeah, Cal money line, yeah, that really juiced it up. Um, I gotta go back to my last week's. Um, tell you about yeah, I was so devastated on this.
God. Imagine
Um,
I would love to know if there's anybody out in the sports gambling world that took a parlay of Vanderbilt, Arkansas, well, not Cal because they lost, Washington, Minnesota, and then what else happened?
Oh, I was okay. So here it is. It is 15. Yeah. So I played the over 47 in Charlotte, East Carolina.
Because
I
of
don't
course, I mean,
because of course. Did you see the final score? Charlotte
no.
scored 55 points themselves. So that covered easily. Arkansas State plus 3.5. Which they won that game outright. If I would have just went with the straight up upset there.
The fighting Butch
Um,
Joneses?
that's right. And then Georgia Tech minus 9.5. That barely covered. Um, and then I had because that was 4, right? Was that 3?
I
It's
think that
3.
was your third one, yeah.
And then my last one was Boise State team total over 24.5 first half.
Which they
They had
definitely should,
49 at the end
yeah.
of halftime. So, yeah, it was pretty much like sweat free all the way up to that. Uh, 15 wins, 895.
That is annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one way to put it there, Joe.
Yeah, especially when you're up, 25 points in the game. But that one was obviously a long shot. I had placed Cal on the spread plus 13, like I told you when that came out. So, uh, that tends what happens when you make parlays, you lose them. So, um,
You're
but
like the dude that was gambling in baseball. God, what was his name? The guy who got busted earlier this year, who had like a three.
Otani?
No, no, no. I forget who it was, but he had like a 3% win percentage because all he did was just place parlay bets all
Oh,
the
it's the
time.
fastest way to lose all of your money. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my fun one for the day and my little late sweat. I made it so I was like, why not throw them in there? This is gonna be a long shot. It could be fun. And then I was like, ooh, this might happen. And then crushing.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that was I could after it was 35-10, I checked out and was just like on my phone the rest of that game. And then just kind of it was on the TV, just kind of kept glancing, and then they stop, score, and I'm like, oh God, I got to start paying attention to this game because
Yep.
I swear to God, Miami better not do this, and they fucking did. Cal did it. It was Cal's fault and the refs.
Yeah, no, I mean it was a lot of Cal. Like
Uh Unbelievable. Um, as far as the other upsets go, the one that I would say out of the Washington Michigan wasn't too shocking because Michigan's offense is putrid and
well,
is an affront to the football
yeah.
community.
Jack Tuttle was a better look though than uh,
Listen,
Warren or Orgy, really.
listen, you could have thrown me out there quarterback and it probably have done a little bit better than Orgy. At least I would have taken some shots. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think that Michigan's wide receiver core? Let's just say, like, do you think? Because I think so. Do you think Vanderbilt's wide receiver core is better than Michigan's wide receiver core? Like,
Well,
do you know anyone on Michigan's wide receiver core?
to Michigan's defense, we can't really see how their wide receivers are because they don't get thrown the ball.
But they also, do you see them making any separation?
No, I can't say that I do. Also, what is it? They lost Roman Wilson. I want to say someone else transferred from Michigan, wide receiver.
One of their wide
Uh,
receivers is playing for the LA Chargers right now. He's a rookie.
it's not Roman Wilson, right?
No,
Okay, I could have sworn there was another receiver that transferred from Michigan and is
they
playing
just throw
somewhere
to
else this year.
Loveland, their tight end, every time. Like when they need to throw the ball, they just throw it to Loveland and their backs out of the backfield, like Donovan Edwards. Um, because their wide receiving core is terrible. Like, um, for being so good, that wide receiver core is awful.
So, I mean, like the Washington winning that game, I mean, they were favored going into it. So I don't think it was much of like a surprise. Um, but I mean, Fayetteville, Arkansas, them holding Tennessee to just 14 points. And then
Dude.
not only that, holding them to 14 points, going down 14-3 in the second half, where you kind of like the Alabama game, you're like, all right, Tennessee's about to blow this open. And then just holding them, locking them down for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, this had to be Nico's worst looking game, and I mean their offense in general. Sampson still ran really well for Tennessee, but they had 3 quarters where they didn't score a single point.
Yeah.
So like Arkansas's D line, I think we found Tennessee's weakness is their offensive line because that D line was giving them hell.
4
And
sacks.
yeah, Nico had very little time. He didn't make very many plays. And at the end of the game, did you watch the end of the game of him? They have no time left, and he just
Yes.
decides to
Just
run the
run.
ball out of bounds.
Yes. I
It's
saw
like,
him do
you
that. Yeah.
gotta be more aware. Like, just it doesn't matter if you throw a pick or not. It's the end of the game. I was like, is he worried about his stats? Like, what's the deal? Because you give someone a chance. You like throw it up any little bit, you could still win the game. Like,
My fa-
so
my
it
favorite
was
thing about that game is that it made me revisit the video of the kid, and I had to show my girlfriend the pig calling contest. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have seen that. When
The
was
kid
that
that
though?
the kid that has the shades.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because it is absolutely fantastic. I need to find that video and play it again because it's just an absolute treat.
I mean, I definitely didn't see that coming at all, but the SEC is gonna be a pretty wild finish this year. Because Tennessee still has to go to or still host Georgia, I believe.
Georgia will go to Tennessee.
Really goes to Tennessee.
I feel like every big SEC ranked game Georgia has, they have to play away from Georgia. So like Alabama, Tennessee, and Ole Miss are all on the road.
Good, because all their neutral site games are at fucking Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta, real close to them, so they deserve that.
All right, let me see if I can pull this up. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Can you see the hog
Yeah,
calling
yeah,
contest?
I've seen this, yeah. Uh,
I hope I can hear it. Come on, pig. Piggy. Come on, piggy.
so oh,
Dude, that's a good pig call.
dude.
He's so proud of himself. Look
It
at his
went from
face
like
at the end there.
pig call to screamo.
Hey, dude, that would not be bad at a screamo death metal concert. Look
No,
how proud
people.
he is. Look at that face.
He just
He's like,
knows he's gonna do a great pig call.
yeah, I just fucking crushed that.
Big suey.
Oh God. And then there's this chick. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. I mean, it's 4.5 minutes, but this lady, I mean,
Oh God.
you can just see from the picture that she absolutely crushed it as well.
She knows how to make a pig noise.
Oh
Definitely.
Christ. But hey, I was stoked to see Arkansas win. Tennessee. I mean, again, this Saturday was just
It was a
the
big win
tits.
for him.
It was the
Yeah.
tits.
Did you get your eyes on that Minnesota USC game?
Oh yeah. I saw the end of that. And
TJ Fleck freaking out.
another great moment from that game was towards the end when Minnesota was driving to try and tie the game, send it to overtime. Minnesota makes a stop, penalty, unsportsmanlike conduct, simulating brandishing a weapon on
Oh,
Minnesota.
dude, that was ridiculous.
That is, I
They've
first time I've
called it
ever
a
heard
few
it.
times this
Well,
week.
and do you see the kid from South Carolina just unload the clip on Jackson
Dude, that
Dart?
was a little extreme. It's like, all right, we don't need to be doing that. But yeah.
Just just unloading the AK on Jackson Dart.
Like, wow.
Yeah, like you
What
said, maybe a little aggressive there, bud.
yeah, they're not setting a great example for the young kids out there.
It's those damn video games.
Yeah.
It's that damn Grand Theft Auto that those kids are playing
I
nowadays.
could see if they did like the crouching, like the teabagging, like that's fine. But the straight up gun, uh, Darius Taylor in that Minnesota game was all of Minnesota's offense, and he was awesome. He was
Yeah,
really, really good.
that was the one game that YouTube TV was not giving me on the quad screen. And so like once I think it was once the Alabama Vanderbilt game ended or Tennessee Arkansas, I can't remember which one. I ended up flipping on to catch the last part of Minnesota taking the lead and then USC trying to tie it at the end.
I was really surprised at how well Minnesota's DBs played USC receivers. Like Miller Moss had a tough time and threw 2 interceptions, one forced at the end of the game. But USC ran the ball very effectively too. Woody Marks looks pretty dang good too. Um, but the gutsy performance of Max Brosmer, his QB sneaks getting that in there.
God.
That review took forever too, by the way.
Well, it was, I mean, I don't even know how they are able to say that's a touchdown either. Like, oh yeah,
I know.
I saw it. Yeah, for sure. It crossed across the
I
goal line.
definitely thought Minnesota was going to get screwed on that. By the way, like I thought there's no
Well,
way that was happening.
quite frankly, they probably deserved it after going for a touchdown on 4th and 1 when you can
Yeah.
just kick a field goal. Again, ultimate balls on that decision to do that, but hey, it paid off. So PJ Fleck's a genius.
Oh, definitely genius. There wasn't any like too crazy games. I mean, there's a lot of close games. Texas Tech beating Arizona.
I
Then
mean, we kind of talked about it already, but the Oregon State game, Colorado State. I mean,
Dillingham too, winning, beating Kansas. Just awful program right now.
Dilly. Yeah, that is God, Kansas is fucking atrocious. Yeah.
Him and Dillingham and their quarterback, I forget what's his name right now. It's usually on my mind, but Sam Levitt. He
the pride of West Lynn.
dude, the tummy sticks, him and Coach Dillingham at the end, they were just praising each other back and forth. It was a little disgusting.
Tummy sticks.
Yeah, that they were playing. But hey, I mean, are we going to talk at all about the old Ducks getting the win or what?
I mean, we could. Big dub. What are you gonna do, right?
I mean, big takeaway is the defense had a dominant showing. Like the pass rush is actually getting home, and something we've been waiting to see for a few seasons now. Or at least I have. I've been really focused on it, and we've just been so close. We've been so good at getting pressures and just not being able to finish, and actually get sacked. So it's good to see the last 2 games, multiple people getting in there, getting pressure, getting to the quarterback.
Well, especially, before, having like your best game as far as, defensive line goes right before you're about to play probably the best offensive line you're going to see all season long.
Yeah.
I mean, that was very much needed. The whole defense in general. I mean, the fact that they gave up a touchdown just chapped my ass.
Well, because the second and third strings were in that time.
I know.
For the last little bit of the game, we were in cruise control. Again, it was another one of those UCLA, let's get out of here, not hurt, injured, anything, and let's get to the next week because this game is a wrap.
Now this is going to be just very like profound, very knowledgeable, very like, oh my God, of course, like I have never heard this before. But I think that this game on Saturday is going to come down to who has a better quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely gonna be one of them. Dylan
Well,
Gabriel gave me a little bit of a scare with this dumbass, uh, picks that he threw in the red zone. We get the ball all the way down there. I mean, that game should have been a lot. We should have scored 45 points in that
it
game,
should have
you
been
know?
45, like 17, because if you're gonna, if you're gonna count dumb turnovers in the red zone for one team, I guess count them for the other, right? Because
Yeah,
Michigan State fumbling at the one, but
that's
no,
another
I
thing
mean,
to look at, like, other teams we've been getting lucky with teams going down on their first possession, getting into the red zone, about to score. We had a block kick on one, and then we punched that ball out on, Childs there, and we're able to recover it and, turn some momentum right there, but we need to kind of figure out that first drive. I know it's the scripted drive, but still.
um, no, I mean, like just to expand on what I was saying, like obviously like quarterbacks playing well matter a lot, but I really think it's whoever makes the least amount of mistakes in this game. Like
It's
the other team.
flags, it's ho
Well,
like
I mean at the quarterback position, like
yeah,
Dylan Gabriel, obviously last week, like it was, I mean, that definitely took some wind out of your sails as far as your confidence in him.
mhm,
But again, like Will Howard, he had a pretty bad pick against Iowa, and they only had 7 points up until halftime. Like he has
yeah.
all the weapons and everything he could want around him, and that offense is still very like meh.
Well, I
Like
mean, how much are they holding back, right? They haven't had to show anything. I was hoping Iowa was gonna be able to play them a little closer so they have to show a little bit more,
yeah,
because I think Chip Kelly's really holding back some of the plays that he has in that,
I
Rolodex
forget I forget
of
about the chip factor in this game too.
yeah, I mean, their running back coach, Coach Laughlin, came from Oregon. Like, we're having to really, change up a few things because Chip played us recently, and Laughlin obviously knew our whole offense and all the calls. So that's when he goes over to the competitor and they kind of tell him, because a lot of that coaching staff over Ohio State has never been to the West, this far west to play a game. So
Yeah.
they don't have no idea what they're walking into, like how they can hear how crazy the atmosphere. They could see the records of teams coming in and playing at Oregon, and it being really tough to win. But until you get in that, you've been experienced it, you don't really know. And they got two coaches uh, that coached here that know how it goes, like that can
I
really
don't
prepare them. So,
yeah. God damn it, Tanner.
huh.
Way to bring that all up. Now I feel even less confident.
Well, I mean, it's just like now our offense. Like I've been thinking about it. I've been I was losing sleep last night over this game. I saw a tweet before I went to bed.
Just lying in bed, just
Dude, I went I then I got all my heart rate spiked. And I was like, because I saw someone tweet out like, "Hey, I know I know an Ohio State alum who just told me that a big group of them all purchased season tickets for Autzen before for the year starts, so Ohio State could have a ton of fans there. So they've been selling off their tickets for each game, and a big group of Ohio State alum bought all these Oregon season tickets and have been selling these games, and they're coming to this game because it's their
dude.
one big game that they travel for in a year.
I say
Um,
after this, they tear out that stupid fucking Buckeye tree outside of the business school that they gifted us 100 years ago when we
oh,
played in the Rose Bowl, or I don't know what it
that's
was. I can't
insane.
remember. It was something. It was like a trade. Like we gave them the Doug fir, and they gave us a Buckeye tree, and we planted it on campus right in front of the Lillis, the business school building, right over by
Yep.
the quad. Tear that bitch out. Deroot that some bitch. I want it gone.
Yeah. I mean, if they're gonna be a new rival in this conference, but yeah, I was I stood up wait because one of my biggest things is I don't wanna see so much red. Like, I want us to
Yeah.
dominate.
No.
Like, guys, do not sell your tickets if you're listening, like, go into the game, keep your tickets. We need all the Oregon fans in there that we can get. We need it to be a rowdy crazy environment, and the only way we're going to get that to happen is if we have everyone there and not selling them to Ohio State ticket like holders or anyone who just doesn't want to be there. I mean, we need as many Oregon fans as we can. So,
Well, there might be some people that are strapped for cash and need the money, you know?
dude, I talked to
You
JB,
get
shout out JB, at the Mashofsky last week,
Oh, okay.
and he said he was tuning into the pod, and he was talking. I talked to him about, yeah, you know what? I think I might be scaling back some of the alcohol I drink because I really want to remember this game. I want to remember every like part that happens in this game, and then he made me think. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm only gonna drink like a little bit before the game, and then I'm just gonna cut it because I want to be able to experience every little part of this game and not get up, need to go pee, whatever it is.
That's a good point. Not get
And
stuck in the beer line.
oh, that the beer line, the piss line, whatever it is.
Oh,
And
I'm going full colostomy bag. I'm strapping a piss bag to me so I can just stay in the stands.
oh, that's a good idea. I mean, it's was it 2024? You can pee wherever you're at, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think I'll be right near the Ohio State sideline. I'll just piss right over the railing right onto him.
I mean, if you saw that Oregon State guy last year, he was pissing just right in the stadium, right where he was. You see that video?
Yes.
Just going right there. No one's gonna notice. It's raining outside.
Just letting it fly.
Yeah, you
Just
can.
blending in with the rainwater in the
Yep.
stadium and just
I
nobody
mean,
knows.
he was trying to be genius, but someone caught him.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
All right, my last question, and then we got to move it along to NFL. Are you going to go to game day?
I
Because
don't.
that is a long fucking day. You don't have to go and be there at 6 a.m. when the show starts, but even when the show ends at 9 a.m., you're still 7.5 hours away from kickoff.
No, I'm going down with my dad, so like I kind of have to wait for when he wants to go. We're gonna leave
Ah,
no later than 8 a.m. though. Um, and did you see the what's it called? Bussin' with the Boys is gonna be at Rennie's.
I did see that.
Um, I
Shout
thought
out,
that
shout out Rennie's.
yeah, I thought that might be kind of cool to see. Just they're like said, I'm sure it's all gonna be super busy.
Oh, dude,
Um,
I don't like.
I don't
I'm
know
going.
where to go to before the game. That's my
It,
problem.
it's insane. It's insane. It's the Catalina
Boy,
wine mixer. Okay.
boy, there's gonna be so many people in Eugene, and I just feel like I almost just need to go park and then not move. Like, but my dad wants to go to Braille's before. I'm like, we could try to
Mm,
go to Braille's,
that's
but
gonna be popping too.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, out
A
of all the
Braille's
week
breakfast on game day Saturday. Good luck.
and all the Ohio State fans, they're not gonna just research breakfast places in Eugene and just
Yeah,
that's
near
gonna pop up
campus.
number one. Yeah. So um I don't know. What are you planning to do?
I don't know. I'm going with my bosses, a couple of coworkers, and there's
Are you guys
definitely
driving together?
there's definitely part of me where it's like, I'm going with them. That's where the ticket is coming from. I don't mind hanging out with them outside of work. They're a great group of guys. I was heavily considering bringing a flask of Four Roses with me. Um, Hell, I was going to ask if I could throw the Ninja Woodfire oven in the back of their car and we can do some tailgating. I'll fire that bitch up. All
Are
I
you
need is
guys
an
gonna
outlet.
have a tailgate spot though?
We'll have a parking spot. I don't know about like what we're doing for tailgating. This is the thing is that if I have a parking spot, I want to utilize that and do some tailgating. I don't just want to stand
Yeah,
around with a box of beers. All right. Like
yeah.
I want to make it a thing,
I
but
mean, I'm honestly fine doing that because if there is no tailgating, I'm still down to drink some beers and like hang out. But
I'll bring the
um,
beers.
I'll
I'll
bring the
bring the
BS.
beers.
Um, but yeah,
But
I don't know where else tailgate wise I'm planning to go for that game.
well, I have those Essig bucks from last year. We're gonna find out if those things are still valid.
There's no fucking way.
Well, they say they expired in 2013. They did not change the expiration date on those. So I can just call them out on that. Be like, listen, you guys gave me these and they said they expired 10 years ago. All right. I got these last year. So
Yeah.
who's fucking up? Okay.
I feel like I got some of those too. I don't know.
Yeah, we definitely did. It was the Civil War game. We went over to
Yeah.
that good part. Yeah. So all right. Let's make this switch. NFL here, bud.
Yep.
I hate the Jags, and that's it. End of the show.
Poverty Jags.
I cannot believe that. They should have. Was it 41 points scored in the fourth quarter between the Colts and the Jags in that game?
It was
That game,
unbelievable.
they
No
should
one
have
wanted to win that game.
They should have ended that game multiple times. They had like 5 chances to end that game, and they just wouldn't.
Yeah. That was bizarre.
Drove me up the fucking wall, dude.
The Jags, I found out talking to my dad this past week that my dad is going to the Jacksonville Jaguars game when they play the Packers in 2 weeks.
Oh, I was going to say, hopefully he was going to the London game.
No. Oh, no. But when they come back home, their second home to Trevor Bank Stadium, my dad's going to be at that with Tammy and Grace, which is hilarious.
Is your dad a Jags fan? Why is he?
No, Grace is a Jags fan.
She would be.
Trevor Lawrence.
Oh boy, big Trevor Lawrence fan, huh? He's a dreamboat. Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, look at those locks.
But they'll probably go to like Disney World and shit while they're in Florida.
Well, hopefully it's still there.
Yeah, I was gonna say like at least they're not planning to go
like this week.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, that was extremely frustrating. Maybe because I had money on Jags covering the 3.5, which again they should have done that. But they decided to just stop playing defense after locking the Colts down at the beginning of the second half. And they're like, all right, we're good here.
Oh, Joe Flacco can throw for 1 million yards against us. Alec Pierce, is he burning me again? Cool. Yeah, that's normal. 134 yards.
Joe Flacco went 33 of 44, 359 yards, 3 touchdowns.
He's turning back the clocks. You love to
unbelievable.
See it, Flacco.
Unfucking believable.
Dude, that had such a massive game.
That is,
you do not want Flacco to throw the ball 44 times, but he was launching it.
Couldn't believe it. And then also in that 10 a.m. slot was the Ravens-Bengals game. Dear God. The Bengals, you want to talk about a team? I mean, the Jags ended up winning, which they should have. They had the lead the majority of that game. The Bengals had the lead the majority of that game. They should have won at that and didn't.
The Bengals are so disappointing right now.
Oh, dude.
like they had that game from the start. They just could not come up with big stops. Did you see Lamar Jackson like stiff arm one of the D tackles who should have sacked him?
I think it was Sam Hubbard. He stiff armed.
Yeah, and then just throws a launcher into the end zone, and Isaiah Likely just jumps up there and grabs it for a touchdown.
That game was fucking insane. And then in overtime, they have the ball. They're driving. They fumble it. Cincinnati gets it on their on Baltimore's 30-something yard line. And it's all right, we just need a field goal we got Evan McPherson. He's a good kicker. We just need to sink a field goal. And then the long snapper drops the fucking ball.
Yeah.
Or no, not the long snapper, the holder.
The holder, he fumbled it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He fumbled the hold.
And then they miss, and then Derrick Henry just runs 50-something yards, and then game over.
I was like, oh, Money Mac's going to come out here and just drill this. It's just a routine from him. And
unbelievable.
Couldn't be further from the truth there.
Unbelievable. That was an awesome game. I mean, that was one of the games of the year right there. But Jesus Christ, Cincinnati, you should have fucking won that game. 100%.
Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing.
I was going to say, I mean, good thing I did not take the Jets to cover. Good thing I didn't take the Browns to cover. I forget what other game.
The Browns.
I can't remember what other game I said last week where I was like, book it and put my money on this. Maybe it was the Dolphins Patriots under because that definitely hit. Um, but I think I found my new tradition, my new Sunday tradition is watch the 1 p.m. games, fall asleep at halftime, and then wake up to the final scores and just be shocked and
Amazed.
and confused, like what the hell happened? Because that was definitely the case. Waking up, seeing that the Cardinals somehow beat the
Oh
49ers
my god. Yeah,
after the
talk about
49ers were up
another
23-10. And
talk about another bad beat for me right there.
well, hey, I'm right with you, brother, because after the Cardinals scored to start the game and went up 7-0, I live bet the 49ers to cover 2.5. Yeah. And I was like, oh, all right. I was like, this is perfect. They're going to give them 2.5. Like they could easily come back. And then they're up 23-10 at halftime after getting a defensive touchdown and Nick Bosa getting a pick. I was like, oh, we're great. I can take a little nap.
Kyler's looking like shit.
Yeah, I'll take a nap. They'll win this game by 30. We're all good here. And I wake up to see how they fucking lost. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck went down here?
So do I get to blame you, Fish, for taking a nap and everything goes wrong?
You can. I mean, I'll
Jesus.
I'll take the L on this. And then
Yeah,
the
that was
and
ridiculous, that game.
and then the Giants beating the Seahawks. That was another one where I think it was tied at halftime. But I
Oh,
would have
yeah.
I mean, before the game even started, the Seahawks, they were favored by 7. They didn't have Malik Neighbors. Singletary didn't play. I was like, dude, you might as well take the Seahawks to cover. Like, I don't know how the Giants are gonna make that flight all the way to
It
Seattle.
seemed too easy. Yeah.
And then fucking Daniel Jones coming through.
Yeah, he had himself a game. There's this Tracy Jr. guy,
Yeah.
129 yards, 18 carries. They really fed him.
The NFL is a mess right now.
All I know is that Bo Nix got another win and looked good again. Like,
And
relatively good. Let's say that.
and he earned the respect of Sean Payton by getting in his face. Did you see
Dude,
that?
just yelling. That was like, did you hear him after um after the game when they were interviewing Bo? They're like, so what they exchange saying to you? And he was like, "Oh, I really like you. You're a really good friend, and you're a really good friend." Just like making it sound like so simple.
I gotta find that. Bo Nix and post game press conferences this year has been great.
Oh, he's gonna be awesome because he's not gonna say any type of like mean cuss word at anyone, but he'll be pissed off.
What the frick, guys?
Yeah.
He's the next Philip Rivers.
Yes.
He just needs to squirt out 11 kids and then yeah, and then he'll really be fulfilling the prophecy.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's Mormon, so
Well, I mean, he's married. He's a godly man. Now that he's out of school and he's got a great career. I mean, yeah, I see 12, 13 kids in his future, possibly.
Oh, the what was your most shocking result of the day, though?
I mean, again, when you wake up from a nap and the 49ers are up 13 on the
Yeah.
Cardinals at home, that was pretty shocking to me. I was just like, what the fuck happened here? I mean, 49ers getting shut out. 3 turnovers by Purdy, I think, total in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Jeez.
haven't seen what the 49ers schedule is like coming up, but boy, they're injured. They got to go to Seattle Thursday night. That's right. Then they have
Ugh.
the Chiefs. Then, as a tradition, they'll beat the Cowboys by 30. Um, and then they'll have to play the Buccaneers after that, and then the Seahawks again. So, I mean, these next, you know,
Gauntlet.
5 weeks. I don't know if they have a bye in between. Yeah, between the Cowboys and the Buccaneers, they'll have a bye week. So, I mean, they'll get the win against the Cowboys, but the rest of it, I mean, that's 2 games against the Seahawks, which are always tough. Game at the Buccaneers and a game versus the Chiefs at home. I mean, so it'll be an
Yeah.
interesting next month or so for them.
I think for me, like, I don't know if it's one of the 2 or both. I could say how bad the Browns are or how good the Washington Commanders offense has looked the last few weeks.
Yeah,
It's
that's one of those. Yeah,
one
it's
of the two, but I don't know which one. Either of them, they both happened in that game. So
yeah, yeah, they sure did. Do you see the clip of was it Deshaun Watson? Like they had 12 men in the huddle. Like they had to go for it on fourth down because they were losing by like 20 already. But they get into the
Deshaun Watson
huddle.
needs to hang him up.
Oh, dude, they need to bench him. It's literally, it's done.
It's
We're done
I
here.
mean, they're like the wide receivers are dropping passes too, but it just everything shit org right now. Shit org. And
Um, I'm trying to think. I think when the game was 24-3. Yeah, it was 24-3 in the second half. And it was fourth and goal. And Cleveland, it's like you have to go for it. You're down 21 points. And so they get in the huddle and and they only had one timeout. So we're already in.
it's already not looking good.
Yeah, like they can't already use their third timeout and the second half just started. So they get in the
Yikes.
huddle and they're counting in the huddle and they have 12 dudes in the huddle. And so like Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper are both counting and Deshaun Watson's like, we can't break the huddle or else we're going to get too many men on the field. So
Yeah.
he literally just walks off the fucking field and they take the delay of game because they can't use their final timeout either. They just take the delay of game and then they end up kicking the field goal. But that was like the epitome of the Browns in that sequence right there. Like, all right, we're down 3 touchdowns to the Commanders. Our season's falling apart. Our quarterback sucks. And we need to try and score a touchdown here, but we can't even run the play because we have 12 guys in the huddle. And so
Yeah.
now we have to take a delay of game and kick a field goal.
It's so bad.
Just god awful.
Jaden Daniels too, like
He's looking good, man.
he had 82 rushing yards, but it doesn't even really seem like it because sometimes I'm like, is he running in like full speed? And then he makes everyone just kind of like look slow, and he's just not really trying hard. It looks like when he's running, but he just take off for 30 yards down the sideline. You're like, what?
5th best odds for MVP right now.
Yeah. I don't know if that's gonna stick, but right now he's looked pretty good the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really curious as far as like what team that like sucks right now is going to end up going on a heater. Like of the teams that are, 1-4 there or with one win, you've
Mm-hmm.
got Panthers, Bengals, Jags, Rams, Patriots, Browns, Titans. Titans, Browns, definitely not. Patriots, definitely not. Panthers, no.
Dolphins, no. Not
Well,
until they
Dolphins
get back
Dolphins do
to
have 2 wins, all right?
yeah, they're gonna need to. You're
But
gonna say the Bengals?
I mean, the Jags, I'm out on the Jags. Like, I had them winning the division to start the year. Shame on me, all right?
But
That
hey, Brian Thomas, he's a top 10 fantasy wide receiver right now, and I think he's a top like 15 overall wide receiver in the league right now. I was calling that before the season, and he's really lived up to that with a shit quarterback. Okay.
yeah, he's been a stud. I mean, obviously, Jaden Daniels is, leading the rookie of the year race.
I
But
mean,
Brian,
any quarterback will.
yeah, Jaden Daniels, Caleb second, Malik Neighbors 3, Marvin
But
Harrison Jr. 4, Bo Nix 5, Brian Thomas 6.
dude, Brian Thomas's numbers have got to be super comparable or better than Malik Neighbors.
I wouldn't be
Like,
surprised. I mean, and he's got an extra game on him now too.
yeah.
But yeah, out of the 1-win teams, I would think that the Bengals are the team that can end up making a run.
Yeah.
The Rams are too banged up. I mean, Matt Stafford has not looked particularly great basically since that 49ers game.
I think he's like secretly just playing hurt still. Like,
Well, he's been getting killed for like the last 15 seasons, so
yeah,
I'm sure they're starting to stack up a bit. The
dude, he's been
injuries.
getting killed this season.
Yeah. I mean, and the last couple of weeks have not left me very optimistic about how, and that was another team I had going to the playoffs this year, were the Rams. So shame on me. It's the
Yeah,
Fisher curse is what it is.
The Fisher curse.
That's what I've done. But
How do you? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, out of the 1-win teams, I would say the Bengals. I mean, they've at least shown that they have a good enough offense to make a run. It's just their defense is leaking like a sieve at this point. Like they're giving
Yeah,
up damn near 30 points every game. So
and they don't have a very easy division, so that's not going to help them either.
no, luckily my Cowboys are helping out, getting big wins against Pittsburgh in an absolutely disgusting, ugly performance.
I
But
was going to ask you how you felt about that game, by the way.
oh, not good at all. I mean, yeah, they won, but it was kind of like, again, this season, especially regular season Cowboys, it's very much like, all right, they won, and
I mean,
like, all right, cool. Like
you kind of dominated that game, like in a
that
weird
game should
way.
not that game should not have been nearly as close as it was.
Yeah,
I mean, Dak throws 2 red zone interceptions, or excuse me, 2 red zone turnovers. He had the fumble, and then he had that fucking telegraphed throw to
yeah, that was
CD.
bad.
It was just like, my God, dude. I
CD
would have
was pissed
I
off
would have
after
picked
that.
that off.
Yeah,
And then I mean, kudos to him for coming in the clutch at the end of the game, taking him down the field and getting that touchdown. But I mean, woof.
what about Tolbert? That guy, 7 receptions, 87 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, needed him to step up. I mean, Cooks was out with his infected knee. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, that
Um,
sounds like Coach O'Brien back in the day. Do you remember that thing?
just necrosis.
Just Josh getting down, pretending to lick it. Just like offensive line drills. Just love
That
yeah.
is so fucking gross.
But Rico Dowdle getting 20 carries. Oh, that's crazy.
It's about time we get some output from the running back position. My God.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised. You guys did a pretty good job on Watt for the most part. Only 1.5 sacks, holding him to. That's
It's still painful
good.
me whenever we play the Steelers or whenever I just watch TJ Watt go off, because the Cowboys could have drafted him. And you know who they took above him? 2 picks before TJ Watt?
Oh god, who'd they pick?
Taco Charlton.
Oh, Taco Charlton.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a beast. Where did he go to school?
Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah. It drives me nuts. I don't like to talk about it a lot because it just makes me it's sick to my stomach, fam. But yeah. Literally 2 fucking picks before TJ Watt was selected. We took Taco Charlton, for
That's
God's sakes.
tough. Because what pick did he go to, or what
It was
pick did
like
he?
it was like 30th or something like that. Like we had
Okay.
it was the 2017 draft,
Well, you can't
and
feel bad because almost every team in the first round pick
well,
passed him then.
yeah, but still, when it's that late in the draft and you were 2 picks away, I mean, like I would understand if like there was like a 15 pick gap or something
Yeah.
like that, right? But the fact that he was there that late in the first round, and
Yeah.
you went with Taco Charlton.
Yeah, we
It
got
was
we
yeah,
got problems.
it was the 28th pick. Cowboys had the 28th pick, and the Steelers had the 30th pick.
Oh, it's tough to look back at some of those things.
Oh, dude, that's the one that just fucking kills me. Like again, I've known that for a couple of years now, and I'll look back on it and shed a single tear.
Hey, but hey, you got the win yesterday, and that's all that matters. So
Yeah,
you're
we'll
3
see.
and 2.
Well, this is what I was saying. Like they've had 2 ugly wins in a row. When do they come back down to earth? And it very well could happen next week against the Detroit Lions at home. They could just get
Yeah, I'm
absolutely
actually
get their backs blown out.
yeah, I'm a little nervous for you guys.
Yep, me too. I mean, I could definitely see the Lions just It'd be hilarious if the first 3 home games of the year for the Cowboys, they just get absolutely dominated by each team.
Just
Saints, Ravens,
wax.
and then the Lions come in and just absolutely roll them. I would love it just so Jerry could have to sit through that for a third time this year.
Probably have a heart attack up there soon.
I want him to just experience as much misery with this team before he croaks.
Jesus.
Seriously. I'm telling you, I want no happiness for that guy in his final years.
We got
All I
the
wanted was a Super Bowl.
yeah,
You're not getting it, Jerry.
yeah, that's I mean, you hope that he does, but yeah.
No, it's not happening.
The battle of the Oregon quarterbacks next week, Broncos Chargers.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah,
I love
couple
that.
couple ducks
Love that.
in the noon slate right before your nap.
Now we just need Marcus to get the start in Washington. Maybe Jane Daniels falls a little sick, and then we get 3 Oregon Duck starters next week, huh?
Now we're rooting for players to be sick.
Just a little flu, just a little stomach bug.
We need 3 Oregon starters this week, okay? Sit down,
Let's
Daniel.
go. Yeah. What is that? Almost a tenth of the league with Oregon starters next week.
Yeah.
Someone, Jaden needs to just I don't know, get the poops or something like that.
Yeah, the Ravens need to re-sign AJ Brown and put him
Or Anthony Brown.
Anthony Brown, that's what I meant, yeah. Just bring him back.
The fact that he got as much play in the NFL, just unbelievable.
Yeah. What a stud.
Oh God. All right. So I think it's time to wrap up because if I go any longer, my girlfriend might beat me.
Yeah,
And she
I need to eat
just wails on me, man.
She punishes me.
Yeah, it's not good. It's the Korean side of her. She just starts getting crazy.
She doesn't know
And
how to act.
oh no, she's out of control. Yeah.
Well,
But maybe we jump on later this week and I can add on like 5 to 10 minutes of some bread and locks. I mean, shit, we can even do that from our phones.
yeah, I mean, I need a few days to look over some of these games because I haven't had a ton of time to look at them, and we're not even done with Monday Night Football yet. So,
Yeah.
I'll take a look and I'll grab a few from NFL, a few from college.
And I'll say this:
We can jump on it.
Lions are a 3.5 point favorite over the Cowboys. I'll finish with this: take the Lions to cover. Just do it.
Well, I usually like taking the Lions anyway. They're good against the spread.
Take them to cover and thank me later.
Yeah. I have a good feeling.
Well, let's try and link up Saturday at some point down at Autzen.
Oh, yeah, you better hit me up and see where you guys are at doing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be roaming. I want to try and find you where you're at, see where JB's at, what he's doing.
Yep.
If we end up at a tailgate, a specific one, I think, was it Sue? Sue has a pretty solid
Crowder guys. Yep.
Yeah. And my bosses, my coworkers, they're cool with Sue. They've known her for years.
No way. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We're good. We're close with Sue. Sue's our girl.
Yeah, it's like back in the new parking lot, almost I guess over close to the Mashofsky, like across the street from it. So
okay. So yeah, I mean, if that's where we end up, I'll hit you up and be like, dude, because apparently Sue, she goes in.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, they got everything set up over there. I went by. I didn't actually stop, but I went by and saw her over there, so I know that she's there.
Yeah, that might be the move. We'll be roaming around because I don't know if our parking spot we're gonna set up, post up there.
Anything.
Yeah, we might just be roaming around with a pack of beer and but yeah, I mean wherever we end up, I'll let you know. We'll definitely be linking up though.
Awesome.
Can't wait, dude. First game of the year for me and the biggest game in Autzen history.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
Also, fun fact, 6 top No, what was it? This will be the sixth top 5 matchup in Oregon history, and they've gone 2-3 in those games.
Okay, so you're saying we're gonna try to get it even?
We're going 500, baby.
All right, that's what I like to hear.
We're getting redemption from that 2013 championship game.
I already got a nervous stomach, so
Oh, dude, I'm gonna be a mess Friday night.
I'm not sleeping.
No, yeah, honestly, so I'm going crabbing on Friday. That's going to determine how well Saturday turns out. If we get a good haul of crabs, if we come out and we limit out, we come out with 36 crabs out in the Nehalem Bay, then I got a good feeling about Saturday.
Are you the busiest man of all time? You gotta go to Hood River, then come back, crabbing,
Oh
and
yeah,
then go into the Ducks game.
it's Super Chef Bobby Flay was there, Mark Cuban, Chris Daughtry. It was insane. All right.
Chris Daughtry. God.
Yeah. All right, brother. We'll link up on Saturday for
Yeah,
sure. Bro.
catch you later.
All right. See you, dude.
Peace, bud.